Paul Graham from OptimalBody.ca. Today I'll be going through how to make health a priority. A lot of people list health as one of their top priorities, but when it comes to actual practice and how they're living their lifestyle, they're not having it falling as high on their priority list as they'd like. So I'm going to walk you through 4 steps to help make health a higher priority. So the first step is to identify, what does healthy mean to you? Actually get clarity on exactly what health or healthy is going to look like for you. This can look very different for different people. It can also look very different for the same person as life progresses. Healthy for me in my 20s looked very different than it did when I was in my early 30s and my kids were infants. Now as my kids progress and they're approaching becoming teenagers, health looks very different than it did then. So understand that it's very fluid. Get clarity on what you want healthy to look like right now. You want to identify the why behind wanting to get healthy. You want this to be really strong so that it actually evokes an emotional response where you can feel why it's so important to you. Oftentimes, a lot of our clients coming in will have surface reasons like, I'll feel more confident. You want to try to get deeper than this to help you keep your health as a top priority as things get busy with your life. Once you've identified your why, ask yourself, is this really going to help to motivate me and keep health as a top priority? Second thing you can do to help make health a priority is stop and identify what are the specific changes or habits you need to make your vision of health a reality. Most people don't stop to identify the actual specific habits or actions they need to take to make their vision of health a reality. So for example, often we'll have people talk about how they're trying to eat clean or they're trying to eat better, but there's not a lot of clarity to that. So for example, with eating, if someone was focusing on getting 4 to 6 servings of lean protein per day and they identified what a serving size was, that's very specific, easy to take action on. As opposed to eating better, it's very vague and open. So try to list off the most important things you need to follow through on in terms of your habits so that you can have your vision of healthy be a reality. Then what you want to do is write down how much extra time will it take to follow through on these habits. For example, if you're trying to exercise more, how often are you trying to exercise? How long are you going to be exercising for? Get an idea of the actual quantity of time required. Or if you are preparing homemade meals now and you weren't before, how much extra time does that require? So you want to try to figure out how much extra time total is required. Step number 3, you now have an idea of how much time is required for those things. Figure out what things from your current life you're going to take out to make time for those new healthy habits that are going to make your vision of health a reality. Almost no one ever does this. Instead, they say, I'm just going to exercise more, or I'm just going to start preparing healthy food, but they really don't stop and think about, logistically, what do I have to take out of my day-to-day life? A lot of the times with clients, when we start trying to do this exercise, they say, I don't have anything I can take out of my life. I'm too busy. Stop and think about that for a second. If you are so packed with activities that you don't have the time to create these healthy habits, what else is a higher priority than your health? And it's okay if there are some things that are higher priority, but you want to identify if there's any things that are taking up time that are less of a priority than your health. Then step number 4 is you figured out what your vision is for health. You've figured out what specific actions you need to take. You've figured out how much time that's going to take and what you're taking out of your day-to-day life. The final thing you want to do is ask yourself, on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident am I can follow through on all these actions that I've listed off? If you're not at least a 9 out of 10, what I'd invite you to try doing is to shrink down those actions or habits into something that's a little bit smaller, something that you're at least 9 out of 10 confident you can follow through on. Start implementing that and making that a habit in your day-to-day life, and then build from there and slowly work up to all of those actions. So take it one step at a time and figure out what's working well, what isn't. So there you have 4 steps to making health a top priority.